Airports are supposed to be the beginning of an exciting journey, but for many travelers, especially seniors and frequent flyers, they've become places of stress, confusion, and costly mistakes. Not all airports are created equal, and some are far more difficult, chaotic, and passenger-unfriendly than others. Long security lines, confusing layouts, constant delays, poor signage, overcrowded terminals, and unreliable transportation options can turn a simple trip into an exhausting ordeal before you even board the plane. What makes it worse is that airlines and airports rarely warn you in advance. They don't advertise which airports consistently rank among the worst for delays, missed connections, lost luggage, or passenger complaints. Instead, travelers find out the hard way, often after hours of standing, rushing, or dealing with unexpected problems. Seniors are hit the hardest because many of these airports are physically demanding, poorly organized, or unforgiving when something goes wrong. In this video, we're exposing the airports in America that travelers quietly dread and wish they had avoided. These are places where even experienced flyers get caught off guard. But it's not all bad news. Toward the end, we'll also talk about a couple of airports that consistently get it right, places that respect passengers' time, comfort, and sanity. Knowing which airports to avoid and which ones are safer choices can completely change how smooth your trip feels. If you want honest travel insights airlines don't openly talk about, make sure you subscribe, like this video, and share it with someone who travels often. Let's start with the airports you should seriously think twice about using. One, Los Angeles International Airport, LAX. Los Angeles International Airport is one of the most avoided airports in America for a reason, and the problems start the moment you approach it. Traffic around LAX is infamous, unpredictable, and often worse than the flight itself. Even seasoned travelers misjudge arrival times because a short distance can take an hour or more during peak periods. Once inside, the layout creates immediate confusion. Terminals are spread out, poorly connected, and often require long walks or crowded shuttle rides. For seniors, this can be physically exhausting and stressful. Security lines at LAX are inconsistent. One terminal may move quickly while another crawls, and there is little transparency about wait times. Flights are frequently delayed due to congestion, weather patterns, and air traffic volume, making connections risky. Another major issue is communication. Gate changes are common, announcements are rushed, and signage often contradicts app updates. Passengers end up second-guessing themselves constantly. LAX also struggles with overcrowding. Seating areas fill quickly, restrooms become congested, and finding a quiet place to sit is nearly impossible. Staff are often overwhelmed, which leads to curt interactions and limited assistance. Baggage claim is another pain point, with long waits and frequent carousel changes. Ground transportation adds another layer of frustration. Rideshare pickup zones are distant, confusing, and require additional shuttles, something many seniors are not prepared for. Delays ripple outward at LAX, meaning even small disruptions can snowball into missed connections and overnight stays. While LAX continues to modernize, the passenger experience remains chaotic. For travelers who value predictability, calm, and physical ease, LAX is an airport many wish they had avoided entirely. 2. Chicago O'Hare International Airport, ORD Chicago. O'Hare consistently ranks as one of the most stressful airports in the United States, largely due to its size, weather exposure, and operational complexity. O'Hare handles massive flight volume, which means delays are not the exception, they're the norm. Weather plays a huge role. Snow, wind, and storms frequently disrupt schedules, even when conditions elsewhere are clear. This makes O'Hare especially risky for connections. Passengers often land on time only to find their next flight canceled or delayed indefinitely. Inside the airport, the layout is confusing and spread out. Long corridors, multiple concourses, and limited moving walkways make navigation tiring, particularly for older travelers. Signage can be inconsistent, and gate changes happen with little warning. Security lines vary dramatically by terminal and time of day, creating uncertainty even for frequent flyers. Another major issue is overcrowding. Seating fills quickly, food lines are long, and quiet areas are rare. During disruptions, O'Hare becomes a sea of stranded passengers competing for rebookings and hotel vouchers. Staff shortages during irregular operations make the situation worse, with long customer service lines and limited information. Baggage handling is another weak point, with frequent delays and occasional misrouting during tight connections. Ground transportation can also be challenging. Rental car facilities are distant, shuttle waits are long, and winter conditions make everything slower. O'Hare isn't just inconvenient, it's unforgiving when something goes wrong. For seniors and travelers who need reliability, O'Hare often turns a simple trip into a marathon of waiting, walking, and uncertainty. 3. Newark Liberty International Airport, EWR. Newark Liberty International Airport has a reputation that makes even experienced travelers uneasy, and much of that reputation is well earned. One of the biggest issues with Newark is chronic congestion. The airport operates near capacity almost all the time, which means there is very little room for error. When weather, staffing, or air traffic control issues arise, delays stack up fast. Even short delays quickly turn into missed connections. Newark is also heavily affected by East Coast weather patterns. Fog, storms, and winter conditions frequently disrupt operations, and because the airport is tightly scheduled, recovery is slow. Inside the terminals, the experience can feel cramped and chaotic. Many areas are outdated, with narrow walkways, limited seating, and overcrowded gate areas. Seniors often struggle to find comfortable places to sit, especially during delays. Security lines are another major pain point. Wait times can vary wildly with little warning, and communication about alternate checkpoints is poor. Gate changes are common, and announcements are often rushed or hard to hear. Another frustration is staffing inconsistency. Some days run smoothly, while others feel understaffed and disorganized. When problems occur, customer service lines grow quickly, and assistance is limited. Transportation to and from Newark adds another layer of stress. Traffic delays are common, rideshare pickup areas are confusing, and public transportation connections can be overwhelming for travelers unfamiliar with the system. Baggage claim is frequently cited as slow, especially during peak hours. Newark's location near major cities should make it convenient, but operational issues overshadow that advantage. For seniors and anyone who values calm, clarity, and predictability, Newark often delivers the opposite. Many travelers only use it when there are no better alternatives, and even then, they brace themselves for complications. 4. Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. DFW, Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport is massive, and while size alone isn't always a problem, at DFW it often works against passengers. One of the biggest challenges is distance. Terminals are far apart, and connections frequently require long walks, escalators, and reliance on the internal train system. When everything works, the train is efficient. When it doesn't, passengers are left scrambling. Seniors often find the sheer scale exhausting, especially when gates change or connections are tight. Weather is another major factor. Thunderstorms and extreme heat regularly disrupt operations, causing delays that ripple through the entire airport. Because DFW is a major hub, disruptions affect hundreds of flights at once. Inside the terminals, crowding can become intense during peak periods. Seating fills quickly, and quiet spaces are limited. Signage is generally clear, but last-minute changes still cause confusion. Another issue is the pressure of tight connections. Airlines schedule close turnarounds, assuming passengers can move quickly between terminals. For older travelers or those with mobility issues, this creates anxiety. Security lines vary widely by terminal, and knowing which checkpoint is faster isn't always obvious. Customer service during disruptions can be difficult to access, with long lines and limited staff. Ground transportation is another mixed experience. The airport is far from many destinations, making rides long and expensive. Rental car facilities require additional transit, adding time and complexity. While DFW has modern amenities and a polished appearance, the passenger experience often feels rushed and physically demanding. For seniors or travelers who prefer a slower, more forgiving environment, DFW can be overwhelming and stressful, especially when things don't go exactly as planned. 5. New York, John F. Kennedy International Airport. JFK, John F. Kennedy International Airport is one of the most internationally recognized airports in America, yet it remains one of the most frustrating to travel through. The biggest issue with JFK is inconsistency. No two trips through this airport ever feel the same. One day security moves quickly, the next day it stretches for hours with no explanation. Terminals operate almost like separate airports, each with different layouts, amenities, and efficiency levels. This lack of uniformity creates confusion, especially for seniors who rely on predictability. Transferring between terminals often requires buses or long walks, and those transfers are not always clearly marked. Gate changes happen frequently, sometimes with minimal announcement, leaving passengers second-guessing their location. Weather plays a major role at JFK as well. Fog, wind, and winter storms regularly disrupt schedules, and because the airport is so busy, recovery takes time. Delays cascade quickly. Inside terminals, crowding is constant. Seating fills up fast, restrooms become congested, and food lines grow long during peak hours. Customer service can feel impersonal, with overwhelmed staff juggling too many passengers at once. Baggage claim is another common complaint, with long waits and occasional carousel confusion. Ground transportation adds more stress. Traffic in and out of JFK is unpredictable, rideshare pickup areas are far from terminals, and public transportation can be daunting for infrequent travelers. While JFK offers global connectivity, the passenger experience often feels rushed, noisy, and unforgiving. For seniors, or anyone seeking a calm start to their journey, JFK frequently delivers stress instead of convenience. 6. Denver International Airport, DEN. Denver International Airport looks impressive, but its size and location create serious challenges for passengers. One of the biggest issues is distance. Denver is one of the largest airports by land area in the world, and moving between security, trains, and gates requires significant walking. Even healthy travelers underestimate how physically demanding it can be. Seniors often find the long distances exhausting, especially during connections. Weather is another major factor. Snow, wind, and sudden storms regularly disrupt operations, sometimes even when skies are clear elsewhere. Because Denver is a hub, delays affect large numbers of flights simultaneously. Inside the airport, the layout can feel overwhelming. The train system is essential, not optional, and when it becomes crowded or delayed, passengers feel trapped. Security lines can be long, particularly during early morning and holiday travel periods. Seating near gates fills quickly, forcing passengers to stand or walk further to find rest. Another frustration is altitude. Denver's high elevation affects some travelers physically, causing fatigue or shortness of breath, especially for seniors. Food and services are spread out, requiring more walking than expected. Customer service during disruptions can be slow, with long lines and limited updates. Ground transportation is also time-consuming. The airport is far from downtown Denver, and transportation options require planning. While Denver International Airport is modern and visually striking, the passenger experience often feels physically demanding and logistically complex. For travelers who value ease, short walks, and minimal stress, Denver can quickly become overwhelming. 7. San Francisco International Airport, SFO. San Francisco International Airport is often praised for its design and dining options, but behind that polished image lies an airport many travelers struggle with, especially seniors. One of the biggest issues at SFO is weather sensitivity. Fog is a constant factor in the Bay Area, and even mild fog regularly causes delays, diversions, and missed connections. Flights may board on time only to sit on the tarmac for extended periods, draining passengers' energy and patience. Inside the airport, terminals are spread out, and connections often require long walks or reliance on trains. While signage is decent, last-minute gate changes are common and can force rushed movement across terminals. Seniors frequently report difficulty keeping up with sudden changes. Security lines can be unpredictable, particularly during morning and evening peaks, and alternate checkpoints are not always clearly communicated. Another frustration is crowd density. SFO handles heavy international traffic, and terminals can feel packed, noisy, and overwhelming. Seating near gates fills quickly, and quiet spaces are limited. Baggage claim delays are also common during peak arrival times. Ground transportation adds another layer of stress. Rideshare pickup areas are distant, parking is expensive, and traffic leaving the airport can be slow. Public transportation options exist, but navigating them with luggage can be challenging for older travelers. While SFO offers modern amenities, the overall experience is heavily impacted by weather disruptions and constant movement demands. For travelers who want reliability and a calm pace, SFO often creates more tension than expected. 8. Miami International Airport, WIME. Miami International Airport is one of the most challenging airports in the country due to crowding, layout complexity, and operational strain. MIA handles massive international traffic, especially from Latin America and the Caribbean, which creates intense pressure on customs, security, and baggage systems. Long lines at immigration are common, even for passengers arriving on time. Seniors often struggle with the standing time required during these waits. Inside the terminals, the layout is confusing, with long corridors, limited moving walkways, and unclear signage in some areas. Gate changes are frequent, and announcements can be difficult to hear over background noise. Security lines vary dramatically by time of day, creating uncertainty and anxiety. Another major issue is staffing inconsistency. During peak periods, customer service desks become overwhelmed, and assistance is limited. Delays are common due to weather, congestion, and aircraft scheduling issues. Seating shortages near gates force many passengers to stand, and restrooms become crowded quickly. Ground transportation is another pain point. Traffic around the airport is heavy, rideshare pickup areas are chaotic, and parking is expensive. The heat and humidity add physical strain, especially for seniors. While Miami is a major global gateway, the passenger experience often feels rushed, crowded, and physically demanding. For travelers who value order, clear communication, and comfort, MIA is an airport many wish they had avoided. 9. Atlanta Hartsfield, Jackson International Airport, ATL Atlanta Hartsfield. Jackson is the busiest airport in the world, and that title alone explains many of its problems. While efficiency is often praised, the reality for passengers is constant crowd pressure. The airport operates at near maximum capacity every single day, leaving no margin for error. When even a small delay occurs, it ripples through the entire system. Seniors often feel overwhelmed almost immediately due to the sheer number of people moving in every direction. The airport relies heavily on its underground train system, and while it is fast, it is also packed, noisy, and stressful. Missing one train can cost valuable time, especially during tight connections. Walking distances between gates can be long, and standing room on platforms fills quickly. Security lines, although numerous, are still long during peak periods. Another major issue is connection dependency. Many travelers at ATL are connecting, which means gate areas are constantly full of anxious passengers rushing to their next flight. Seating is limited near gates, forcing many seniors to stand or walk far to find rest. Gate changes happen frequently, and announcements are often rushed due to non-stop operations. Customer service desks are perpetually busy, making help hard to access during disruptions. Baggage claim can be chaotic during peak arrival windows. Ground transportation adds to the stress, with heavy traffic and confusing pickup zones. Atlanta works well when everything runs perfectly, but perfection is rare. For seniors and travelers who need breathing room, calm pacing, and clear communication, ATL can feel exhausting and unforgiving from start to finish. 10. Las Vegas McCarran International Airport, LAS. Las Vegas McCarran International Airport may feel exciting at first, but for many travelers, especially seniors, it quickly becomes overwhelming. The airport is designed to move massive crowds in short bursts, often tied to conventions, holidays, and weekend travel. This creates sudden surges of passengers that overwhelm security, gates, and transportation systems. Security lines can grow long without warning, and seating near gates fills rapidly. Another issue is sensory overload. Bright lights, constant announcements, slot machines, and background noise make the environment mentally exhausting. Seniors often find it difficult to focus on important information like gate changes amid the distraction. Walking distances between terminals can be longer than expected, and signage, while present, isn't always intuitive for first-time visitors. Gate changes are common, particularly when aircraft rotations shift. Staff are often rushed, and personalized assistance can be limited during peak times. Baggage claim delays are frequent during convention turnover days, when hundreds of flights arrive within narrow windows. Ground transportation is another major challenge. Rideshare zones are crowded and confusing, taxis are expensive, and shuttle waits can be long. Extreme heat during summer months adds physical strain, especially for older travelers. While LAS is designed for entertainment, it often prioritizes speed and volume over comfort. For seniors or travelers seeking a calm, orderly airport experience, Las Vegas can quickly feel chaotic and draining, making it an airport many regret choosing. Before we move on, take a breath for a moment. Everything we've covered so far focuses on airports that consistently create stress, confusion, and unnecessary strain for travelers. But not every airport operates this way. Now we're shifting gears. It's time to move away from the airports you should avoid and talk about the few in America that actually make flying easier, calmer, and more respectful of passengers, especially seniors. 1. Portland International Airport, PDX. Portland International Airport is often overlooked, but for travelers who value efficiency, clarity, and comfort, it consistently ranks among the best in the country. One of the biggest advantages is its layout. PDX is compact yet spacious, with terminals designed for easy navigation. Passengers can move from check-in to security to gate without long, confusing walks or multiple transfers. Seniors and those with mobility concerns often praise how accessible everything is. Another key factor is efficiency. Security lines at PDX are well managed, and wait times are consistently lower than at major hubs. TSA staff are trained to provide clear instructions, and alternate lanes are available for travelers who need extra assistance. Another feature that makes PDX stand out is the signage. Every gate, restroom, and service point is clearly marked, and consistent updates are provided across digital screens, announcements, and printed materials. Unlike many airports where last-minute changes feel chaotic, Portland communicates clearly and calmly, reducing stress for passengers of all ages. Ground transportation is also straightforward. Rideshare zones, taxis, shuttles, and public transportation are easy to find and navigate. Parking is well organized, and accessibility is prioritized. Seniors report fewer difficulties moving between terminals, boarding, and retrieving luggage, making the entire process feel smoother. Amenities are another plus. Seating is ample near gates, rest areas are comfortable, and restaurants and shops are conveniently placed without overwhelming traffic or noise. Even during peak travel times, the airport feels manageable and organized. Another subtle but important feature is staff interaction. Airport personnel are consistently helpful, patient, and proactive in assisting travelers. This contributes to an overall atmosphere of calm professionalism. Portland International Airport doesn't rely on tricks, complex policies, or fear-based messaging to move passengers along. Instead, it prioritizes clarity, accessibility, and passenger satisfaction. For travelers who want a stress-free start to their journey, especially seniors, PDX is an example of what a passenger-focused airport looks like. Its combination of efficiency, navigability, and thoughtful amenities ensures that trips begin on a positive, organized note. 2. Seattle-Tacoma International Airport, SEA. Seattle-Tacoma International Airport, also known as SEA, is another airport that consistently gets it right when it comes to passenger experience. One of its strongest features is its design. Terminals are logically organized, signage is clear, and walking distances are manageable, even for seniors or travelers with mobility limitations. Clear connections between check-in, security, and gates make the process intuitive, which reduces stress and uncertainty. Security at SEA is known for being efficient and transparent. Lines move quickly, and TSA staff provide clear instructions for each step. Alternate lanes for seniors, families, and travelers with special needs are well maintained and easy to access, reducing physical strain and waiting time. Another major advantage is communication. Gate changes, delays, and other important information are consistently updated across screens, apps, and announcements. Unlike larger airports where announcements are rushed or confusing, SEA prioritizes clarity, ensuring that passengers are fully informed and confident in their next steps. Another feature that sets Seattle apart is crowd management. Even during peak hours, seating is ample near gates, rest areas are comfortable, and passenger flow is smooth. There is little chaos, and travelers rarely feel rushed or overwhelmed. Ground transportation is equally well organized. Rideshare areas, taxis, shuttles, and public transit options are clearly marked and easy to navigate, with minimal walking required between zones. Parking is straightforward, accessible, and designed with convenience in mind. Another standout feature is staff support. Airport personnel are known for being friendly, patient, and proactive, often anticipating passenger needs before they arise. This creates an atmosphere of calm professionalism that is rare in large airports. Additionally, amenities are thoughtfully integrated. Restaurants, shops, and lounges are conveniently located without creating overcrowding or noise. For seniors or travelers who value comfort and clarity, SEA consistently delivers a smooth, stress-free experience. Seattle-Tacoma International Airport demonstrates that it is possible to combine efficiency, accessibility, and passenger-focused design, making it an ideal alternative for travelers seeking a calm, organized start to their journey. Traveling doesn't have to be a stressful, exhausting, or confusing experience, especially when you know which airports to avoid and which ones actually make your journey easier. From the chaos of LAX and the sprawling complexity of Atlanta to the crowded corridors of Miami and Las Vegas, we've highlighted airports that consistently frustrate travelers. These are places where delays, confusing layouts, long security lines, and unclear communication create stress before you even step on the plane. Being aware of these airports allows you to plan smarter, choose safer alternatives when possible, and prepare for challenges when travel through them is unavoidable. But it's not all doom and gloom. Airports like Portland International and Seattle-Tacoma International show that a thoughtful, passenger-focused approach is possible. Clear signage, accessible layouts, manageable security lines, efficient ground transportation, and friendly staff make a huge difference. Seniors and travelers of all kinds can start their journey with confidence, knowing that these airports prioritize comfort, clarity, and smooth operations. By choosing airports wisely and knowing what to expect, you can save time, avoid unnecessary stress, and travel with far more peace of mind. If you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss future tips, hacks, and insider advice that airlines and airports don't openly share. Hit the like button if these insights will help you on your next trip, and share this video with friends or family who travel frequently. Staying informed gives you the upper hand and ensures your journey starts on the right foot. Remember, travel is supposed to be exciting and enjoyable, and with the right knowledge, you can avoid common pitfalls and focus on the adventure ahead. Safe travels, and always plan smart before your next trip.